I know exactly what it feels like. Someone said something, in a meeting, at a table, in front of people who were watching to see what you would do, and you let it go. You swallowed it. You told yourself it wasn't worth the confrontation, that you were being the bigger man, that reacting would only make you look weak. And then you drove home replaying it. Again. The way you always do. Because letting it go and being at peace with letting it go are two completely different things. And you have never been at peace with it. Not once. Machiavelli had a name for what was happening in that room. It wasn't respect, it was a test. And every time you swallowed it, you failed it. These are the 7 rules for the man who is finally done. Rule 1. He understands what disrespect actually is. Not rudeness, not someone having a bad day. Disrespect is a deliberate signal. It is one person telling another where they believe the boundary is. And the only thing that sets that boundary permanently is the response. Machiavelli wrote that men will always be treacherous toward those who have made themselves loved, because love can be withdrawn. But they will hesitate before a man who has made himself feared. Not feared through aggression, feared through the certainty that there is a line and crossing it has a cost. The man who accepts disrespect once has just moved his line. The man who accepts it twice has told the room there is no line at all. Rule 2. He stops explaining the disrespect to himself. Most men who swallow disrespect spend enormous energy justifying it afterward. He didn't mean it like that. He was stressed. It wasn't a big deal. This is not wisdom. It is the mind protecting itself from having to act. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, but the reverse is also true. A man who minimizes real injury in real time is not being stoic. He is being afraid. There is a difference between choosing not to react and convincing yourself there was nothing to react to. Rule 3. He decides in advance what he will not accept. The man who has no predetermined standard gets managed in real time by whoever is in the room with him. He makes decisions under pressure, in front of an audience, when his emotions are already engaged, which is exactly when he will make the worst ones. Machiavelli was precise about this. A prince who does not lay down his lines in peacetime has no lines in war. The powerful man decides before he walks into any room what categories of treatment he will not absorb. Not out of anger, out of clarity. That decision made cold, in private, cannot be manipulated in the moment. It is already made. He is simply executing a choice that existed before the disrespect arrived. Rule 4. He responds to disrespect with composure, not silence. There is a version of this men confuse. They think swallowing disrespect and staying composed are the same thing. They are not. Composure is the state from which a man responds with maximum clarity and minimum cost. Silence in the face of disrespect is not composure. It is surrender dressed up as discipline. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man's character is revealed in what he tolerates, not just in what he resists. The composed man does not explode. He also does not disappear. He responds directly, calmly, without performance, and the room understands that the line exists. Rule 5. He never explains his standards to the person who crossed them. This is the move most men get wrong. They react, and then they justify. They say why what just happened was disrespectful, why they deserve better, why the other person should understand. That explanation hands back every inch of ground they just took. Machiavelli understood that power explained is power reduced. The man who has to argue for his own respect has already lost the argument. He does not explain. He simply responds in a way that makes the explanation unnecessary, and then he moves on. Rule 6. He audits who has been allowed to disrespect him and stops renewing that access. This is the one men avoid longest, because the answer is usually not a stranger. It is someone they work with, someone they love, someone they have given years to. Machiavelli wrote that the wounds a man inflicts on himself are the ones that never fully close because he chose them. The man who has been absorbing disrespect from the same source for years has not been patient. He has been complicit. That calculus can change. It does not require an announcement. It requires a decision. He stops accepting the level of treatment he has been accepting, quietly, permanently, without drama. If you have been swallowing this longer than you should have, subscribe. Every episode goes one level deeper. You need to be here for what comes next. Rule 7. He understands that self-respect is not given, it is demonstrated, not to other people, to himself. Every time a man accepts treatment beneath his standard and does nothing, he is not only sending a message to the room, he is sending one to himself. And that internal message compounds. It tells him that his standard is negotiable, that his peace is available for purchase. Epictetus, who spent years as a slave with no control over anything external, wrote that a man's dignity is the one thing no circumstance can remove unless he hands it over himself. The man who stops swallowing disrespect is not fighting other people. He is reclaiming something he has been quietly surrendering every time he told himself it wasn't worth it. It was always worth it. Most men read this and think it is about becoming harder, more aggressive, quicker to anger. That is the wrong frame entirely. The man who cannot be disrespected is not the loudest man in the room. He is the clearest. He has done the internal work, decided his standard, committed to it privately, and stopped needing the room's permission to hold it. Machiavelli observed that the men who commanded the most lasting respect were never the ones who demanded it loudest. They were the ones who made the cost of disrespecting them quietly, unmistakably apparent, not through threats, not through anger, but through the consistent and absolute refusal to pretend that what just happened was acceptable. That refusal is not a personality. It is a decision. You have been in rooms where someone said something they had no right to say, and you sat there and you took it, and you told yourself you were being the bigger man when the truth you have never said out loud is that you were afraid of what standing up for yourself would cost you. Afraid of the confrontation and the fallout and the possibility that holding your ground might mean losing something you are not ready to lose, and that fear is not weakness, it is human, but it has been running your life long enough. Because every year you spend absorbing what you should have refused is another year you spend at war with yourself, replaying it, rationalizing it, carrying the weight of a standard you believe in, but have not been willing to enforce. And the man on the other side of that decision is not angrier or harder or more difficult to be around. He is simply done negotiating with people who were never going to respect a man, who did not first respect himself. Done explaining his worth to rooms that were reading his tolerance as permission. Done swallowing the thing that has been costing him more than any confrontation ever would. And if you have been carrying this longer than you should have, you already know what it has cost you. And if you are ready to be that man, you already know what you are. Finally, ruthless.